Hi, welcome back. In this lecture, I want to talk about the dask.distributed framework that we're going to use in order to make Python to scale up to supercomputers. So what is a dask-distributed? Well, essentially, dask-distributed is a distributed computing scheduler. Why we want to use it? Well, we can run on multiple CPU cores, but this we can do also without the dask distributed using dask. But most importantly, we can run across multiple machines, including supercomputers. One of its main features is its dynamic task scheduling that is very efficient for real-time and adaptive workflows. Most importantly for us, who care a lot about monitoring performance, the dask distributed provide a web dashboard similar to the TensorFlow dashboard that is going to allow us to monitor computation. What is the memory usage? What is the computation part? And so this is an extremely useful feature of dask distributed. So there is not much that we need to do. We can still using some of the approaches that we learned in the previous lectures, such as task delay and task array, and basically add this new feature called dask distributed. The change to our code will be minimal, if zero. In reality, we just add this dask distributed and the work will be done. So dask distributed works very well for HPC workloads. Whenever you want to run on a supercomputer or a cluster, you do need to have a dask distributed enabled. So let's look at the architecture itself. A dask cluster is a collection of work processes that execute a given task in parallel and coordinated by a central scheduler. So the major feature of dask distributed is the presence of this a central distributed scheduler that allow us to schedule different workers on multiple machines. We also have a new user interface that is called client. So we will need to create a client in order to interact with the scheduler. I want to tell that there are different kinds of dask cluster. If you are running on the local workstation or local laptop, you will need to use a local cluster that will be to support your multi-core processor, and you will start it with the client. Interesting for us, if we want to use a supercomputer, then we will need to use a SLARM cluster. That is, SLARM is a supercomputing job scheduler. So then to start the client, we need to create a SLARM cluster. If you're doing cloud computing, you want to deploy dask on cloud computing infrastructure, then you will need to use a Kube cluster for cloud-based execution using Kubernetes as orchestration framework. So let's look at how to start. Well, it's very simple. The first, we need to import dask distributed, in particular the client. Then we will need to start a local dask cluster. In this case, I want to start the dask cluster on my laptop, so that is a multi-core machine. So I will just go with the local cluster, and this will use all the available CPU cores. This is an example of a local cluster. It's basically the very same example I use for calculating pi using the dask delay. So there is basically the same code. What are the change? Well, the first change is that we import the client that will allow us to interact with the scheduler of dask distributed. So we do the import, and then we have two more lines. The first one, we create the client with this simple call. So we create and connect to a local dask cluster. In this case, we call client, so it's a local cluster. And then important, we also want to print what is the link with a URL we can connect to in order to show the performance at the runtime. So this will print the link, and then we can click on it and then open on your web browser, and we can monitor. So this is very simple. Basically, with the 3 lines, we enable our dask delay to use the cluster in Dask. I talk how nice and beautiful is to use the monitor at runtime on our application. Here there are different panels that I just copy and paste from the monitor infrastructure of Dask Distributed. We can monitor different things. For instance, what is the work status? Are our tasks done or still delay or waiting for be run? What is the memory usage, like here, what is the CPU usage, and how the task scheduling is working. To start it is very simple. We just take the link and then open up. Typically it's this, but please double check the link that is given by your code. An obvious question that you might have, since basically we add 3 lines of code to our Dask delay code, is what happens if we run Dask without Dask distributed? Well, by default, we use a single machine scheduler. There are different backends. We can choose threads, processes, single threaded. The main reason the execution is still limited to single machine, but still we'll be able to use multiple cores. If we use Dask distributed, then we have the cool feature of real-time monitoring. We can scale across multiple machines like a supercomputer, and also we are dealing with a distributed scheduler. That's a little bit more advanced than the simple Dask scheduler. So in summary, Dask distributed enables multi-core and multi-node execution. It comes with just a few additions to what we learned so far, because it supports Dask delay, Dask array, Dask data frames. A very nice feature is the Dask dashboard that allow us to monitor the performance during the execution of our code, and then we can use supercomputer. This is the last slides of this lecture. Talk to you soon.